Hello there, DBI. This is your DBI admin, Rizian, and this is going to be another roleplay review, this time over Beyond the Sea of Stars, New Worlds, and New Friends. And in this log, we have Genesis, Leaf, and Saliath, and the synopsis is that Genesis arrives on the mysterious world of Konats in search of a legendary swordmaster. He stumbles upon a ranger of the Sonata Mountains, and both of them are surprised when a friendly traveler of the Sea of Stars arrives. The three exchange information about the worlds they are all from, and decide that after their meeting, and perhaps they should trade techniques and lessons in the art of combat once they have properly rested. And this log, while really short, I think is one of the better ones that has just displayed kind of like the slice of life that DBIers in our roleplay universe can have. And the synopsis is pretty much on point. It follows the story of Leaf, who is just kind of resting in the woods. And while he has this really tidy camp, Genesis just kind of arrives. I want to stop for a second and talk about the camp itself because Ike went into a lot of detail to describe this camp, and it kind of shows that, not only does he know what he's talking about in the same sense that, like, Indon, the person, is a scientist in real life, you almost would think that Eichenbahn was, an actual ranger from how well he describes this camp and how intricate it is, talking about, the lean-tos and the things that he's used to make, the furs that's on the ground. He's tanned the leather. He has, the spear is set like this and the fire is set like that. And it's very cute. It's very quaint. And it fits the character of Leaf very well, who I'm actually pretty happy to see Leaf kind of out of the D&DBI realm. While I really liked that story, it was super, super grounded. And it almost felt like I won't say it didn't belong, but it was going to be hard to have that character stay his D&DBI version and then have him switch over. And I think here he does kind of make that switch to where he's a little bit more comfortable with the fantastical and the magical and whimsical, whereas in D&DBI, while that still happened, I feel like it was just a little bit more toned down. And I always wondered how he would mesh well with other characters. But he does. He meshes well with actually great with Genesis when he makes his arrival. And I'm not 100% sure where the idea for Genesis came along to find this legendary swordsman, but it could also just be like, hey, this is an excuse for why I'm on Konats and why I am, here and why we're role-playing together. Kind of like what Ike said in his last video, do we really need a reason why you are there role-playing across the world from the last time we see you? No, but here you are, and if you have a reason for it, great. If you don't, oh well. But the introduction of Genesis and Leaf is very, very, very good. I'm trying to think of a better word to describe it, but it's just very good. The two of them, Leaf is kind of like, hey, like, I got the spear. Who are you? Like, what are you about? Genesis is like, I'm no threat to you. You're clearly no threat to me. Put the spear down. It's not going to do anything to me, but, out of respect for you, I'm going to let you know that I'm of no threat. And they just kind of exchange stories. It's a slice of life. They're just two people who have met each other on the road. And then the real reason why I wanted to do an actual video about this rather than just typing up the reply, Saliath's engine and his spaceship gets its maiden voyage, and he leaves Earth and arrives on Konats. And while it is like almost like a 2.5 post from like him leaving Earth to him arriving here in the scene, we don't need to have the grand voyage of him drifting through space or traveling through the hyperlanes. Again, I want to roleplay with these people. Where are you guys at? You're here? All right, now I'm here. And congratulations, Saliath. Like, we've all seen your progress of, thinking about the engine, working on the engine. The last I didn't get to review it, but I did read it. Hell of a deal. He was explaining to Styx, like, hey, this is what this thing is going to do. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Maybe I can make it travel across planets. And he does. So congrats, buddy. We're all, at least I'm happy for you. I'm happy to see that, it wasn't just a fever dream and that we got to see it to come to fruition. And, while they're talking, it's pretty cool to see, and it's really adorable to see Leaf react the way that he does when Salath's ship arrives out of the sky. He thinks that it's a great dragon of some sort, and Genesis is like, okay, hold on, you country bumpkin, it's just a spaceship, and I actually think I know this random person who's flying in here. And Leaf is just like, well, I've never seen it. But what's cute is that, Leaf knows that there's life beyond the planets. He's just never experienced it himself. And it would make sense because I don't think like a lot of people are just coming to Konats, whimsically. I think that if they are going to be here, that they definitely have a purpose and they don't really just kind of arrive in some random forest. So it's good that he like acknowledges that yes, there are people beyond the stars. He even says that like, I thought Genesis was alien, but geez, this guy is freaking alien. Like green skin, super tall. I almost wanted him to pull a Predator line and be like, "You're one ugly son of a," but he didn't. So oh well. But like Salath shows up. He and Genesis are kind of sharing this tale of like, hey man, like I'm glad you got your ship flying, and they're sharing stories. And what was really interesting is that Genesis kind of makes a notion that he really wants to see one of these great dragons that Leaf is describing. That lives in may live in the mountains. We don't know where they're at. They could be in some weird sky temple or something like that. But he really does say like, man, I want to fight one of these things. Like, is that he's being very respectful towards the culture of Konats and saying like, hey, like, can I fight one of these, or is that kind of like a big no? Like, should we not touch them? Are they sacred? Are they magical? And Leaf is like, no, dude, like, I'm a road warden. Like, that is what I do. I protect people from these things. So, it kind of, while I think Genesis was more going for like, I hate to say it, his ego, like he just wants to fight the biggest and baddest thing. Leaf is like, no, that's a very honorable job. And it would be kind of cool to see, although Genesis is, way stronger physically than Leaf, it would be cool for Leaf to kind of teach him the ways of like, hey, if you want to hunt these things, I can teach you some of my ranger arts. I can teach you, how to track them, how to hunt them, and if you want to fight them, I can make you a road warden if you want, like an honorary road warden. And I think that'd be a cool title for Genesis. And what was also really cute was that I'm giving all the talks to Leaf right now, but it was cute how he was so interested in the ship once it arrives, and once he hears its name, he like introduces himself to it. I thought that was pretty cute, and again, on point with the character, because while the character has seen minotaurs and golems and dragons, he's never met a ship before. He's never seen a flying metal machine. And Salath is just kind of eating it up of like, hey, I have this ship. It made its voyage. Like, that's really cool. I'm on this new planet. And he gets to kind of show off his tonfas a little bit and, kind of flex. And what was cute was that, Leaf is like, oh, wow. Like he, Konatsu being the weapons masters, he like instantly sees like, oh yeah, like, that form is pretty dope. Like, if you do this and you feint here, that's going to be a hell of a strike. And kind of recognizes that this guy is as trained and as learned as he is with weapon arts. And, I really think it's cool. I there's not a lot to really say about this log other than it's just a cute little slice of life We get the maiden voyage of is it the Blackjack, I do believe? The name of the ship? Yeah, Blackjack. And I love how, you know, Genesis kind of knows the reference of, like, I'm always betting my life every time I get in this thing. And Goliath kind of was like, yeah, that's why I named it. And I will say, always bet on black. But yeah, it was a good job, guys. It was a cute little log. So I'm excited to read the next one with the actual fight and spar. And I guess I will see you guys next time.